We are living times where many of us ask questions about purpose and happiness. We are living a moment of rupture, moving away from external motivators such as money and status. And we want to understand what can provide us sustainable happiness and what drives intrinsic satisfaction in our lives. I had a good moment after watching a piece of TED Talk called The Secret Ingredients to Happiness. I found it interesting that somehow I would have more answers about how the feeling of being in control of our lives can contribute to our happiness. And I decided to get in touch with the person doing that TED Talk. My guest today is Miriam Ismail. She's a personal and professional coach. And by the way, she's equipped with one of the most complete approaches for coaching, such as meditation, self-hypnosis, emotional freedom techniques, naturopathy, hypnotherapy, and productivity, like kind of time management. She has been an entrepreneur and a published author. She's a speaker and she's an instructor. What is also interesting about Miriam is that she was a finance college professor and worked in Fortune 500 investment firms in the finance industry. And she's also certified in leadership strategies coaching from Harvard University. That's quite impressive. And the other thing is that she has been living in 4 different continents. And Miriam, welcome today. And I wanted to ask you, how do you transition from the world of financial wealth to the world of mind wealth?
Thank you so much, Ivan, for your lovely introduction. I'm so happy to be here with you on your platform. I highly appreciate what you do and what you offer. It's totally what resonates with me.
Thank you.
So the shift, well, the shift happened, I want to say with age, our interests shift and our mindset shifts. So I became more interested in the well-being of the person more than the financial well-being of the person. And personally, all these modalities you mentioned are modalities I use in my personal life. And I found out that the human journey is full of obstacles and challenges, right? That's how we grow, that's how we evolve. And these modalities truly help us always be on the right path, always evolve, always take in the challenges and learn from them. So when I felt the difference these are doing in my life, and I was so passionate about them, I truly just wanted to spread the wealth of information and teach these workshops. And I never stopped learning. Topics are constantly coming into my umbrella of what I offer. I keep on expanding. I mean, the world is packed with, valuable information, and I constantly learn. And then when I feel I'm ready, I transfer the knowledge and I teach.
Miriam, because I guess that the fact that the focus on wealth, like financial wealth, has kind of shifted in our current society, partially thanks to the fact that we got a little bit of time to reflect on ourselves, to reflect in our purpose in life during COVID times. We had some break. I was talking about rupture, but it was more like a break to take time to think about ourselves. Now, there is something very interesting that I call the autopilot syndrome. So we have so many things in life. We are constantly using digital. We are constantly overworked, stressed, and people has the feeling of not having the control of our lives in our society. According to you, is that a big problem? Is it sizable? Is it only a small percentage of people, or this is like the big problem for most of us?
Yes, I feel this is the problem of our modern age. And unfortunately, it affects everybody. It affects 99% of the population. And so I believe in balance. As long as you keep things balanced and under control, it's fine. But we don't keep it in balance. And this nonstop noise, connectivity, globalization, information, it's overwhelming. It's stressful. And I feel it just drains our resources. It depletes our energy. It makes our focus, our alertness so weak. our mindfulness just disappears. You become so not living the moment. You're constantly doing something, not living the moment, not aware of what's happening around you. And I really feel in the long run, you just feel so stressed, so tired, so depleted. So yes, I really feel it is a problem that we should be aware of, and we should shift our mindset in order to be able to use it in a balanced way.
What I have the impression is that more and more, in fact, we believe that we are relaxing when, for instance, we take our mobile and we are swiping around with objects, and we think that we are relaxing. But in reality, our brain is constantly on demand of resources. It's like when I look at you in a Zoom call, then I have to pay attention to your movements. And in fact, my brain is working even more than when if I saw you face to face, like in a physical context. So there is a huge misunderstanding between being in autopilot, and you said it quite nicely. So this moment of mindfulness where we are paying attention to what we feel, to the moment, and I'm connected with myself, and I'm connected with your interactions, and we never have the time to do it, and we find a lot of bullcrap reasons to not to saying that we don't have the time, we procrastinate, that maybe when it's not the right moment to do it, right? Do you feel that it is quite extensive, and it has happened to me many times?
Yeah, that's so true.
What do you feel that there is a kind of consequences between this autopilot syndrome and our mental health, and subsidizing somehow our human needs?
Absolutely. In the long run, you truly just start feeling all this cortisol being released into your system, right? You're constantly feeling you're not catching up. No matter how much you spend time on devices, it's always not enough, right? There's always something else you didn't have the time to see. And you're caught up in this rabbit hole where, for me, I feel it's really a waste of time, because you end up doing something so precious in your time and just wasting it. And I don't know, it's not rewarding. I believe, can I share with you what I believe?
Totally.
I believe there is more to life than our daily lives, like the to-dos, the chores, the errands, the responsibilities. So I believe we are spiritual beings, and we're here on a mission. And our mission is to constantly evolve, learn, grow, learn from our challenges, from our obstacles. Now, if you are drained and depleted and constantly bombarded with whether social media or the digital world, how are you going to fulfill this mission? You really can't, right? Because you are swamped with the grind of life. I don't think you would have time to do anything else, because you're constantly running and running in circles to catch up. So that's where I tell you there should be control and balance. And the key to all this, you need to shift your mindset. You need to tweak your behavioral patterns. The modalities I teach come into play here. If you meditate, if you exercise, if you connect with your higher self, you try to be mindful, then distraction will not affect you so easily, because you're so focused, you're so centered. Not anything is going to distract you and take your attention away from something valuable that you're doing.
And what is somehow contradicting with our human nature is that we don't allow ourselves to take the time to manage these distractions, because we can be aware, and through mindfulness, certainly we learn a little bit how to have the control to recognize a distraction and just be able to make it away, to let it go. And our emotions are distractions. Our way that we feel that where we are, in fact, spending good time, like spending time watching Netflix, well, it's not always a distraction, because it's using our energy. So to complement this idea that only time could is wasted is also our energy, that energy that can be put in the things that matters to us. And one of the things that matter to us, of course, and you have mentioned it so nicely in your TED Talk, is how do we reach happiness? And that's the question that I want to ask you next. So there is a correlation between managing your time, because it's about having control of our life at the end. It's not about the time itself, it's about being in control of our life, which is something that it is it's part of the Maslow's needs for human beings, having control of our lives. When we don't feel the control of our life, then we have pains in our mental health, and we feel like demotivated to move forward. So what could be, how do you see the correlation between this life control and happiness? And by the way, I want you to define happiness, because there is a lot of misunderstandings about what it is.
Yes. I would just say happiness is a choice. You wake up, you choose to be happy, regardless what you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. When I did my TED Talk, the whole idea was life is never going to be smooth. Otherwise, what's the point? And if I'm always going to find a reason why I'm not happy, there are hundreds of reasons why you're not happy. So when I correlated happiness with time management, because in my research, I realized when you are a good time manager, it helps you release all these happy hormones into your system. The dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, and the endorphins. And I'm like, how simple is that, right? So if I need a push, I wake up and I choose to be happy, right? But then I need an extra push to help me kind of take this point to its target. Let me be a good time manager, because when I'm doing this, physically, I'm helping my body to be happy with all these happy hormones. So the big idea is you need to choose to be happy. You need to decide to be happy. And that's when you can accomplish it. So I don't want to define happiness. I know happiness is gratitude, happiness is mindfulness, happiness is great health. Yes, all these are so important, but the most important thing is, even if these things are not in your life, maybe good health isn't, maybe mindfulness isn't, still choose to be happy. And when you do this, you really feel the shift. You really feel you become happier. You embrace it. You believe it.
Indeed. But it is in most of the cases, and I used to believe that happiness is kind of a concept. But as you mentioned it quite clearly, it is a balance of chemicals that we have in our brain. So we need to be able to manage this balance of production of certain chemicals that makes us feel happy on the moment. Now, again, happiness is not something that it is like the instant reward that we have when we are eating a nice Italian ice cream. It's not about, hey, I got my Ferrari, or I reached my first million. There is the concept of, in happiness, of something more sustainable. It is about how you're living your life. It is contentment, this realization. And I love it that you bring back always the concept of mindfulness. You cannot have happiness if you don't have moments where you break and you feel it. As you say, it is a choice. To make the choice is about take the time to feel it. If you are not able to distinguish it, so what's the point?
Exactly. Yes, this is it.
Now, there are kind of positive and negatives about the digital world that we are living today. So we often get hooked by the digital tools that we use, but it can also help us to be more efficient. I'm bringing it to the topic of efficiency that is related to your proficiency in time management. Where do we draw the line versus the positives and the negatives that digital can bring in our life?
Absolutely. So our digital world has brought in a lot of advantages, definitely. The connectivity is wonderful. For instance, I live in the States, but I'm connected to my family, my friends all over the world. And this by itself is priceless, right? The key here, I keep on saying it, the key is balance. You need to balance your life. So when I do my workshops and my teachings, I always start with an exercise that I created, and I call it the Wheel of Life Assessment. So as the name implies, it's a wheel, it's a circle, it's a big circle. And I've divided it into 10 segments. And each segment is going to reflect a part of your life. For instance, one segment family, one segment fitness and health, one segment personal growth, and so on, money, job, living environment, and so on. So it's a circle. So I asked them to fill it in. Each segment, what is the number you'd give it? 1 when you're not happy in it, and 10 when you are very happy in this segment, right? Mm-hmm. When we start doing this exercise, this will give them a complete picture of what they're feeling at this point in time. And I always ask them, when you look at it, you need to balance it. So for instance, if you feel your family life is a 1, and then your work life is a 9, this is a big imbalance. So this is an eye-opener for you. So which means you need to work more on improving your family life, and so on and so forth. So when we balance the wheel, we become very mindful, we become in control, then we are aware of how to use things positively. I use the digital world positively. I know when to stop. I know when it's time now to go exercise and meditate and not keep on, using my device. I know when it's time to spend time with the family, So I always start off, I link everything, but I always start off with this wheel of assessment, life assessment, because it gives you who you are, where you are, and how you can start shifting things to kind of become a better version of yourself.
It looks so simple, but the trick is that always we cannot do it alone. We need to have someone like to make us say the things as they are, that we are unhappy, because otherwise when we are alone, we say, okay, I didn't call my mother for 2 weeks time. It is fine, right? But when we are saying it to someone, we feel a little bit more that what we are saying, we weight a little bit more the importance that it has in our life. So that's quite amazing. I wanted to get back to one point that you mentioned before about happiness being a choice.
Yes.
How do we create this mindset of happiness is my choice? What could be like a starting point for someone who wants to create this mindset? Can this person create it tomorrow? Start building that mindset as of tomorrow?
Yes. I always advise a very simple trick. Wake up 1 hour before you need to. So you wake up 1 hour before you need to, and you enter your day on a very graceful note, very relaxed note. You wake up, and I want you to have a morning ritual, meaning you just don't wake up and start on your device. No, that defeats the whole purpose, right? You wake up, you have a morning ritual. It may include anything that makes you feel connected. Maybe you meditate, maybe you pray, maybe you exercise, maybe you go for a jog, maybe you have a coffee on your balcony or your pool or whatever, You do something that connects to you. You open your eyes, choose to be happy. Feel grateful that today you're alive. Today is a new day. It's a gift. You're going to conquer it positively and be productive and be happy. When you start on this note, the whole day will follow on this note. Mind you, I'm not saying that we are going to wake up without aches and pains, maybe in our body, without maybe mentally, we're distracted, we're upset. No, of course, life is always full of obstacles, but you put that aside. You treat the day, as a new page, you carry on. And then I have, I call them time wasters. that I feel over the years. I think these are the main things that truly make us lose time. I have a few time wasters. One of them is procrastination. One of them is not planning and all that. So when you start 1 hour early, perfect set of mind, your mindset, everything is clear. Keep in mind the mind wasters and how to overcome them, and stay on it, that you are a good time manager, releasing the happy hormones in your system throughout the day. Voila, it's a wonderful equation, right?
Indeed. And when we say it like this, and we don't know enough about how the brain functions, we believe, yeah, that's something like hippie says. But the reality is that our brain is a little bit like kind of dumb. It doesn't distinguish between reality and fiction. So what happens is that setting up your mindset, like repeating a sentence that is going to be like, today I'm going to do less of waste of my time. Like today it's going to be something positive, or today I'm going to make the choice of being happy. When we are saying it, our brain believes that this is reality, and it starts generating all of the chemicals that you have mentioned to enhance, to prepare our brain to make it happen. It is not that we attract luck or whatever. No, it's our brain that perceives the world, removing the negativity, and believes on that. There is this how can I call it, like a story, in fact, that there was some researchers doing comparing, for instance, when imagine that you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, the pain, the reality of the pain that our brain perceives is similar between the crush of a mini crush with a car and the pain that we feel when we break up with someone that we love. So our brain does not distinguish reality and fiction. So that's an opportunity to train our brain to kind of trick him to believe certain new things. But we have to get exactly what you say, these morning rituals to prepare our brain for the rest of the day, and prepare our brain to have the choice of happiness.
Yes. You know, Ivan, it's as simple as when you fix your bed in the morning, just by completing this simple task, dopamine is released into your system, one of the happy hormones, just because you completed the task.
Yeah.
So imagine, right? So and so on and so on and so on and so on. You finished your exercise, endorphins and dopamine is released into your system. You know, you meditate, you release. So it's wonderful. We keep on releasing these happy hormones, feeling productive, feeling that our day is meaningful and mindful.
Indeed. And that's what makes us human at the end, because the highest thing that we want to achieve in our life is self-actualization, being the, you say it, best version of ourselves. So when we achieve something that we wanted, like making the bed, as simple as making the bed, our brain is saying, you have done it.
Bravo.
Bravo. Makes me think about the discussion with when my daughters were younger. Every time they were eating correctly, bravo, doing the show.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Now, you have mentioned that the starting point of a discussion about how to set up the priorities in our life is working on the wheel of life to see how satisfied we are with certain topics. Now, the next step would be to say, how do we make the time to manage these priorities, new priorities that come to our life after assessing, hey, I'm not satisfied about my family life, or I'm not satisfied about the time that I'm allocating to my children or to my wife, or I'm not satisfied about my job, for instance. So we need to start making the time to work on it. And there are different methods. Some of them are super complicated. By the way, I back in the days, I used to practice this what was the name? Just getting things done. I started that, and after 1 month, I had to drop it because it was too complicated and it was rather wasting my time. But so there are different methods to manage your time. What are the ones that you feel are more appropriate to drive long-term results so that we have less friction and we are not fighting with our motivation and we let it drop, like my personal example?
Yes. So in my time management workshops, I have a lot of tips and guidelines, and I have a lot of strategies to overcome all this and truly become a very good time manager, regardless who you are. So, but I want to mention one thing here. Some of us are born better time managers than others. And here, when I start my time management workshop, I usually start with the Myers-Briggs personality assessment, because I found a link between Myers-Briggs and what type of time manager you are. So if you are a great time manager, excellent, a bit of tweaking and you're done. If you are not a good time manager, I have lots of techniques where you will learn them and they become part of your personality. So you're not going to drop it after a month the way you dropped just do it, right? Because it never became part of you. It was a chore for you. You just lost interest. Yes. No, I let them embed these new habits, new skills, and their personalities, and you're shifting the behavioral pattern. For instance, I told you we have 10 time wasters. Let me mention procrastination, right? So procrastination, we all do it now, but we do it for different reasons. So I found two types of procrastinators. Type 1, where they do it because it's boring, they don't want to do it, it's repetitive, whatever, I'll do it later. Okay, so I trained them to stop that mindset and feel, no, I need to do it and get it over with. So we have exercises for that. Now, type 2 do it because they are seeking an adrenaline boost when the deadline is approaching and they're not ready yet. So they do it constantly for this boost of adrenaline. Now I take them back to the circle, the wheel of life that we did. What's missing in your life causing you to seek this adrenaline boost? So see, everything is linked. Everything has a deeper reason. So I deal with the root problems. I don't deal with the superficial symptoms. I go deeper into what is the reason you do this. And that's why when you do my time management workshops, at the end of it, you come out with a very concise plan as to how to choose to be happy, how you are a good time manager, and how you're always in control, mindful, fulfilling your life journey in a positive way. So this is it. You need to go into the deep problem, not just treat the symptoms. So I don't want to, like, lots of strategies, lots of tips, but each tip is targeting a specific mindset you have, a specific pattern you have, and we solve that and we move forward.
I like your examples. And what I was wondering is, where would you classify someone who has the fear of failure? So, because I feel like they don't enter into pattern 1, neither in the boring thing, or the pattern 2, which is adrenaline boost. But some people are procrastinating because they don't want to see the outcome. Like, let me give you an example. So very often I hear people who wants to leave the jobs, right? Okay. Because they are not happy. They are not a match with the culture. They feel like they are not recognized whatsoever, but they stay there. And by the way, it has happened to me back then, but I'm just sharing a little bit of my personal life here. Is there something specific that would work for people who are fearful about the results, the outcome? Like, what is going to happen if I leave my job? I'm going to lose my financial wealth. I'm going to be suffering. My family is not going to be happy with me, and so on.
Yes. So this is it, Ivan. That's why I have so many modalities. Here comes into it the self-hypnosis, the energy healing, because his fear is a result of something really deep in his subconscious. So we need to see that. How was his childhood? What causes this fear? Something caused it. You can't be afraid out of the blue. We work on that. So now it's you have to treat the symptoms that came up as fear. You want to go deeper and find out what happened in his previous job. Did he ever experience failure? And that's why now his fear is manifested. We go deeper. So I go into other modalities to treat this, which is self-hypnosis is very powerful. EFT tapping is very powerful. It depends on the person. Some people don't like these modalities. We always find modalities to resonate with you because we have so many modalities out there. But for people who like self-hypnosis, EFT tapping, energy healing, and all that, again, we can solve this fear problem through these modalities.
Okay. EFT tapping, can you say more? Because I mean, I know a little bit about it, but I explain me a little bit more about EFT and how does it work? Because it's a name otherwise.
So EFT tapping is emotional freedom technique. I'm going to keep it very brief. It is based on the concept that we are beyond our physical body. We are an energy body having a physical body. So think of it as when you are on a highway and an accident happens, what happens? Traffic jams, you know, it makes it very hard for you to go from point A to point B. Same with the energy body. So the belief here is when there is energy blocks in your energy body, it's causing all these issues that are manifesting in your physical body. So all we do is we clear these energy blocks. Again, you do it through tapping. You tap. There's a sequence we use. We tap. Again, it has to resonate with you. I know some people don't. It's fine. I respect that. We have other modalities for them. But tapping, from my experience, results are, I don't want to give it too much, but results are instant. Like immediately once you go through the pattern, you would feel the result. And we keep on digging, this is it. The human experience is a work in progress, right? You keep on working on it. You keep on working on issues, on negative, habits, positive habits. You keep on, working on yourself to bring out the best in you.
And that's something that is very difficult for us humans to understand, that there is not one single formula that can be adapted for you. You as an individual, your psychology is quite unique. So
yes,
people has to be open to this approach of continuous improvement instead of saying, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to be the next trainer or the next or the next time manager. No, it is not about that. It is about trying and see what fits to you. So it is about that finding the right person who will help you out, match the approach that will work for you. And God knows that we need to be open to this approach of trying new things, accepting failure, because certain of the things it will not work simply because it doesn't work for everybody.
Exactly. I always work on the principle. I tell my participants or students, like when something doesn't work for you, it's not you're a failure. It's like you have to shift and do something else. It's not part of your life path. It's just an alert to tell you this isn't the right path, do something else. So as you said, there are many ways, many modalities, many different thoughts. As long as it resonates with the individual, that's it.
Indeed. But why do you feel that people do not take a serious grip on their time management skills? And the thing is that we always find a good excuse, including me, I don't have time for that. But behind it must be something happening in our brain that creates a blockage. But with the experience that you have, what do you think it is the biggest reason why people do not take seriously that managing your time will affect your happiness and your possibility, the choices that you have in life?
Because it requires work. And sometimes they feel they don't want to be bothered with the extra work it requires, you know, for them to fulfill all this. Because we've been saying you need to dig deeper, do your wheel of assessment, do this and do that, and tweak your mindset and wake up early. So sometimes people feel they don't want to go through all that. But if you see the big picture, it will be a bit of work at the beginning, but then everything will be incorporated into your habits, into your personality. Within just 66 days, you can acquire all these wonderful new habits, or you can quit old, annoying, negative habits. All it takes is 66 days, right? So for 66 days, you're going to struggle to kind of make it work, but then it will be so smooth moving forward. So it all has to be with the person's idea of what is it they want to do in their life. They want to spend it grinding day in and day out and living the daily life, or are they willing to discover their main purpose, their mission? Why are they here? What is the big picture they're supposed to accomplish? In addition to our daily life is just for us, it's a necessity for us to survive this human experience, right? But there's a deeper reason. Everybody has a unique mission that only this person can do. And you leave your signature. So for you to be able to do all that, you need to zoom out from the busyness of your life, zoom out and try it and see the big picture. And then if you're willing, then you have to get in the process of, doing all these things.
Even though you have mentioned 66 days, let's put it into perspective. We are not talking about 66 days that I'm going to live my current life to just focus on my change. In fact, the efforts are much more less than it is perceived, because it's about this continuity, this repetition of things that we are going to do, like waking up in the morning to prepare our mindset. What do we do? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, create rituals in order to reduce the friction that we have in our brain, because our brain doesn't like change. Our brain, in fact, whenever there is a change, there is this old thing that comes up and lights up fear, big change, because it's made to protect us. Like back in the days, if there was a wild animal, we had these hormones that are telling us, hey, watch out. We don't like change. I mean, our brain doesn't like change. So in order to like trick the brain, we, instead of having like a disruptive change, we create like habits that are repetitive until it becomes a reflex. Like when we are driving a car and we don't even think about it because all the movement, think about the complexity that it is to drive a car. But at the end, when we know how to do it, it becomes like a reflex. Our brain is
like breathing. Yes. It becomes like breathing. You don't need to make an effort for that. Yes.
But in the transition to changing and taking the control of our lives, I would say, yes, you need like somebody to make you accountable, to do like regular check-ins, right? To tell you, to motivate you if you have failed. No.
Yes.
I mean, if something has failed, it's not you who has failed. Something has failed and doesn't match with your current, I don't know, lifestyle, or it's a method that is not relevant for you, resonating with you. Somebody who can do a check-in if you are progressing and make you realize that you're progressing, because sometimes when you are doing these micro habits, you don't realize really that you're progressing, but you are, right?
True. That's so true. You need somebody to monitor you and keep on motivating you, inspiring you. Exactly. That's where I come in.
Indeed, Miriam, that's the job of a coach, offering a wealth of tools in order to provide change. Because a coach, in fact, and that's something that I found quite interesting about you, is that you are offering a wealth of techniques. You are not saying, this is my specialty, my EFT tapping, my hypnotherapy or whatever. You are saying, I come with all these things so that I can pick and choose the most relevant for you as an individual, Ivan or whoever is your
True. It's like having a toolbox, right? You have a toolbox and then you use the appropriate tool for the appropriate project. Yeah.
Miriam, so let's imagine that I have to start tomorrow taking control of my time.
Yes.
What actions do you advise me to start doing if I have to do it tomorrow? And you know that there is going to be friction, because if you tell me do for 2 hours meditation, I will tell you,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Really, a very, very simple way to just start. Just wake up earlier than you should. If you can't wake up 1 hour earlier, just half an hour earlier. Starting your day on a very relaxed note instead of waking up and you're late and you're rushing. You know, it makes a difference when you wake up and it's still calm and you're not in a rush to be anywhere. You are setting the tone for your day. By just doing this, you will feel the difference. But just by doing this simple trick. So I like to always advise that it might sound a bit crazy, but I love it. The minute you open your eyes, again, regardless of what you're feeling, smile. Even if you're forcing yourself to smile, smile. So you wake up and you smile. And then you start your day, you know, brush your teeth, wash your face, whatever you have, your coffee, but start on that. For me, meditation is a big one. So, but again, as you said, not everybody can meditate. Not everybody is willing. Again, I feel when you meditate for a few minutes in your morning, oh my goodness, it's like the cherry on top of a wonderful morning ritual.
That is true. And I must say that back in my days, I had like a big problem with meditation, because I wasn't aware that meditation can start even with 2 minutes, 2 minutes breathing exercise.
Yes.
It is about connecting with yourself. I don't need to be focused for hours. I know that people can improve and take longer minutes to feel themselves, but sometimes just a breathing exercise of 2 minutes, it is enough to do the check-in and at the same time prepare your mindset, because there is an initial intention with your breathing, and then you can prepare the day correctly.
Exactly. So when I teach meditation, I have so many different styles, but one powerful and simple one is take 2 minutes while breathing properly in and out, listening to your body's rhythm. Just think of 5 things you're grateful for. That's it. So I'm grateful for this. You might say, I'm grateful I woke up today. It doesn't have to be material things or big things. Just, I'm grateful I found a parking spot. It could be as simple as that, you know. Just think of 5 things or more, but I say 5 because I make it easier. 5 things that you're grateful for. Meditate for 2 minutes. There you go.
It's quite relevant for Dubai to say, I'm grateful that I found a parking spot. Really.
Exactly. See, so
I just want to summarize what I have taken out of this last question, is that waking up early is about creating a moment where you're not going to be distracted by your day-to-day chores, which is kids screaming, husband talking, thinking about work. So you create, you remove, in fact, things that can make you not focus on what you do. So you remove the noise, the distractions. So that's something that is quite useful. The story about the smiling, I like it a lot, because again, it goes back to the story that I was saying. Our brain is a little bit dumb, so fiction and reality. So if our brain can generate hormones, and that is going to communicate to our mouths, the opposite is also true. The movement of our mouth is telling our brain, produce this hormone because he's happy, right?
Yes.
So it is something that is quite that is quite good.
And so simple, Ivan, right? So simple. Yeah.
Indeed, it is not something that is wow, it's going to take me so much time. And then story about meditation, and meditation, let's put it into perspective. It's not about doing yoga, having a mat. It is just a moment to connect with yourself, to decide the intentions that you want today. So if it is your intention, it is about having the option of being happy today, do it. Just connect with yourself, because your brain is going to digest that and is going to have the right type of glasses to see the world in the happy way.
True.
I love that. Creating habits for time management is about a lot of repetition. It doesn't have to be like intense work, like 1 hour, 2 hours per day. It can be very short sprints or runs of time, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, in order to decide to practice what is the thing that you want to accomplish on the day. But it's about consistency. It's not about intensity, right? Habits is that. I love that. So that's something that it is quite relevant. Instead of imagining that if I have to take control of my time in order to be happy, I need to do a lot of effort, is to remove this mindset to say, it could be easy if I do just something repetitive. That could be the good starting point. Miriam, I wanted to ask you, so how do I reach you out if I mean, you have this beautiful signature course that in order to prepare to go through the journey of taking control of our life, how do I get more information about you if I want to chit chat about that, if I have a challenge? How do I reach you out?
The best way to reach out is my website. So you can email me from my website, which is precioustime.info. And I have a YouTube channel, again, Precious Time LLC, where I share my videos and you know, my ideas. But usually I respond promptly to emails, and it would be the starting point to get hold of me through the website's email.
Okay, so I'm going to do the following. I'm going to put your website, precioustime.info, below this, the description of this discussion. I'm going to put the access to your YouTube channel, Precious Time LLC, and I'm going to do something more. Let's put your LinkedIn account, because I think that this is one of the easiest way. I mean, we could reach out to each other very easily, send a message, and that's something that is quite beautifully done. Miriam, it was lovely to speak to you today. I really like the fact that connecting this resource that we have, and it's a scarce resource because we don't get it back, time, to the sense of feeling happy, feeling content, satisfied of what we do. It is very, very important. And I like what you do. Thank you very much, Miriam.
Thank you so much. It was really wonderful being your guest, Ivan. As I told you, I love your work, resonates with me so much. I hope your audience will enjoy this talk. And I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Oh,
thanks.
Lovely. Hey, by the way, I forgot to say, I need to put the link to your TED Talk, because that was super inspiring.
Yes. And to whoever watches it, please share with me your thoughts.
Great. Ciao, Miriam.